Hi everyone, and welcome to the second episode of our weekly Game of Thrones show, The Last Night's Watch. Now this week we will be talking about episode 2, The Lion and the Rose, which if you've seen it is oh my god amazing. This week we will have all of our regular features, so we'll have a bunch of celebrity guests and cast interviews from Game of Thrones, including Sir Dontos, Davos, Sansa, and none other than Ray Winstone, who'll be talking to us about what he thinks of Game of Thrones. So this week, I suppose the big thing is obviously
oh my god,
the wedding.
Yeah, it was insane, you guys. Like, totally expected. I've read the books, as I go on about quite a lot. So I totally expected this to be this season's episode 9.
Yeah.
Episode 2. It's ridiculous.
But that's what they wanted to do, isn't it? To throw everybody like right off balance, and you just knew somebody was gonna bite it by the end of that episode. It was like, who's it going to be? Because I haven't read the book. I know, but
oh yeah, by the way, spoilers.
Oh yeah.
You knew that one of the big cast members was going. You could just sense it.
Right. Yeah.
So
Who did you think it was going to be?
I don't know. I thought it might have been Sansa actually,
right,
or Tyrion. Well, no, actually no, because I don't think Tyrion's going to die. But well, not at the moment anyway. But you could just tell it was going to be somebody big.
What is it that built it up though? Because obviously last week we had a couple of people from the red carpet telling us
they did warn
it was a big one, and
yeah,
so we knew that was coming. But in the way the episode was structured, I really felt kind of the ratcheting up of the tension. The whole second half, that wedding, it just slowly built and built and built.
Well, yeah, because you know he was baiting Tyrion the whole time, wasn't he? Like,
Such
bring the cup, and you know, it's just being so horrible and getting more and more horrible. You could just tell he was like spoiling for a fight, but then for it to be him in the end, it's like that was the twist, I suppose, wasn't it?
What was your favourite bit in the build-up? Because obviously there were lots of kind of little moments. So even before the wedding happened, they're having like a pre-dinner scene or whatever, and Tyrion presented him with like a book that was like ancient and really old, and then obviously Joffrey just got a big ass sword.
That was hilarious.
Hacked it to bits.
That was hilarious. The way he did that was brilliant. I remember when I first read that scene in the book, I remember being really sort of disorientated, and like it was just so weird. I couldn't believe that Joffrey had died.
Yeah.
And they didn't quite recreate that, probably because I knew it was coming, but like the cruelty of Joffrey was just insane, and the dwarfs that come out and run around, and the fact that one of them was representing the Red Wedding, and Sansa just has to sit there and take
that was
it.
harsh.
I mean, just so cruel.
But that's, I mean, again, what was great about it was like a Miss Marple thing. It's very much, it was done like a whodunit. So again, people read the books, no.
Yeah.
But in regards to, if you watch it back, for like 10, 15 minutes beforehand for the moment, everybody could have done it. Everyone got close enough to him.
Yeah, that was
really
well
cleverly done. Yeah.
So, okay, so we've read the book, so nerd alert, but who do you think did it? What is your feeling on it?
I'm not sure. I think it's either Marjorie or it's Sansa with help from Sir Dontos. Yeah, I don't know. But then it could be Tyrion. Just there's so many different people it could be. It's hard to know at this point.
I love those cutaways when they cut to an actor who has to just stand there and look mildly suspicious. It's always very good, and there are about 4 or 5 of those in that episode. So yeah, I mean, what an amazing moment.
Do you think he could have gone for much longer though? Because as much as I love to hate Joffrey, it got to the point where it was all you can do is hate him. Like just every week he's just being that much more of a bastard. Do you think there would have been that much longer?
No, I mean I think it was always coming for him, but it's sad in a way that he's gone, because he's one of the focal points of one of the characters that people love to hate, like I said. And so now he's gone, they'll have to bring someone new in, and maybe Prince Oberyn would be the new one. I don't know.
So good. Okay, so compared to the Red Wedding, better, worse, more shocking, less shocking?
Ooh, that's a hard one.
But very different, I think. I mean, I wasn't expecting the end of the Red Wedding, although it had been spoiled. There was too many spoilers before that went out, but so everyone knew something was going to happen. But I think that was more shocking in a way, because so many of the main characters died.
And the violence was so intense as well, wasn't it?
Whereas you could tell, like I said, you could really tell that something was going to happen at the end of Joffrey and Marjorie's wedding. You just knew something was going to happen, but I don't think you never expected it to be him, maybe.
So, I mean, that quite obviously means our big what the fuck moment of the week is the wedding.
Yeah,
pretty
definitely.
much the entire second half of the episode.
Yeah.
Kind of tangentially, my favourite WTF moment was actually the band being Segura Ross.
Wow.
I did not realise, but
Didn't know that.
yeah, my friend pointed out at the time.
Nice.
Yeah. weird.
I think a lot of bands actually pop up in it. I think Coldplay was in it. Yeah, last time.
So basically, if you see someone from an indie band playing music,
or if you just see a band in it, it's going to be an indie band, somebody famous.
Yeah, and someone's going to die.
Yeah.
So what's going to be really interesting with this, I think, with the Red Wedding, obviously that had a huge Twitter reaction, had all those amazing reaction videos of Woody filming it, screaming, and George R. R. Martin even saw some of those. We actually spoke to Liam Cunningham, who plays Davos on the red carpet the other week, and he told us how much he loves that kind of community aspect, and he loves watching people scream and shout and rant on Twitter. So here's what he had to say.
I loved seeing the reaction to the Red Wedding. That was extraordinary. I've seen a few of them, and that's a kind of a, you know, you kind of accept that the show has kind of become a phenomenon when you see that kind of visceral reaction. And the amount, I mean, you know, where do you get that? What other shows have you seen people jumping over the backs of their sofas with their blankets up in front of them going, what? And it's extraordinary. And I mean, to gain, I mean, it's Greek. It's like Greek tragedy.
Absolutely.
And that hits us, as I say, right in the organs.
It's great to see one of the stars like really engaging with the fans on Twitter and getting involved and being excited about their reactions, I think.
It's nice to see that they actually see it.
Yeah, exactly.
Pay attention to it. Speaking of which, we kind of, off the back of those cast interviews we had last week, we knew something was going to be coming in episode 2, so we stuck a camera in front of us while we were watching. And yeah, the reaction was pretty interesting when Joffrey went down.
Yes! Die! Die! You can do it! Yes! Yes! Explode! Explode! Oh no!
I don't think he did it though,
awesome.
did he?
He didn't. It's
I reckon it was Marjorie.
Yeah, it's Marjorie.
Oh, that's
Yes!
close.
Fuck. Die!
Miss it.
And let go.
Yeah, but she's going to be so evil now.
So yeah, I think one of our art team, Emily's reaction there was pretty spectacular.
Yes, yeah, she
was pretty excited.
just a little bit.
Just so satisfied to being dead, just so happy.
Yeah.
Another regular thing that we do each week, basically Sam on the red carpet asked all the stars what they would like to see in a Game of Thrones movie. And we spoke to Sardontos, played by Tony Way, and we have a feeling his idea for a movie scene probably isn't going to happen now.
That he gets to have a stand-up fist fight with Joffrey, and he wins.
It was interesting hearing from Sir Dontos there, who obviously could be a massive suspect in the murder of Joffrey. He had that kind of weird little interaction with Sansa the week before in the maze and the weird necklace giving.
Yeah.
We also actually spoke to Sansa, played by Sophie Turner, and we asked her for this week's The Wester crossover. In other words, what TV show would she like to mix up with the Westeros universe?
Well, I really like Breaking Bad. That's the only TV show that I really watch, unless it's reality, so, which is really bad. Actually, let's bring Honey Boo Boo in. No, I think Walter White would do well in the world of Game of Thrones, don't you? Oh my God, have you seen, like, you know, what is it? It's like the cover for the 6th season of Breaking Bad. He's sitting on like a chair, and people have edited it so he's sitting on the Iron Throne.
It's amazing.
Absolutely.
And how would Honey Boo Boo do?
She'd do great. She's so intelligent. She's so smart. She's got great political policies. She'd do great.
So kind of dealt with the main second half of the episode, which was the wedding. I suppose moving on to other bits and bobs, because you know it's easy to forget there was other stuff going on, which was really great. I loved the way the episode began with that really terrifying Running Man-esque chase scene through the woods with, again, kind of Theon working for the bastards, chasing down that girl and kind of ripping her to shreds with a dog. That's pretty brutal.
Did we find out who that girl was, or was she just a sort of victim?
Random victim
yeah,
number 7,
that was quite unpleasant, really. And then when it cut back to Roose Bolton had come back, and then they had that whole scene with the shaving and everything. That was,
so like he's properly just got Theon under his thumb now. He's just completely dominated him, kind of.
But don't you think he had? Do you think he's playing along, or do you think he's been totally like?
He's like there's nothing left of him. He is like weak now. I mean, like when he had the knife at his throat, and he pretty much went, "Oh, by the way, killed all your family and friends, or your surrogate family and friends," and he was just kind of like. If he was not properly under the thumb.
But I think, I don't know, I got the feeling that maybe he was playing along and waiting for his moment. Do you know what I mean? Like he could have done it then, but he was probably like maybe waiting for his moment.
That whole thing is super weird.
It's kind of
It's
unpleasant.
super weird.
But I love as well how it came back to a theme which I think is really prevalent in the whole show, which is fathers and sons. Seeing that whole dynamic between like Roose and the bastard, and you see a flicker of not humanity, well, I suppose insecurity in him.
Yeah.
And he's kind of like, oh, you basically screwed my chances of ruling the Seven Kingdoms because you castrated him or whatever and screwed my chances over. I thought that was really great.
Yeah.
So I mean, that was a great scene. What were your favourite scenes from the episode other than the wedding?
For me, I really loved the sequence where Bronn is training Jaime Lannister how to fight. I think it had lots of cool lines and stuff. But what's particularly interesting about this scene is in the book. I'm going to go on about the book again. It's actually Sir Ilan that trains Jaime. And what's interesting about that is Jaime deliberately picks him because he's had his tongue cut out. Sir Ilan Payne, the executioner. He picks him because he's had his tongue cut out because he doesn't want anyone to know that he's not up to full strength. So it's kind of weird that they picked Bronn to replace Sir Ilan for that role because obviously he's a sellsword and he can't really be trusted that much.
They tried to justify it obviously with that line, and he was like, "Oh, I bring my friend's mistress down here or whatever every week."
Yeah.
So high
I mean, it's a great line, but that character dynamic is really interesting, and it's quite a big change from the books. But then George R.R. Martin did write the episode, so
did he?
Yeah. So I can't really complain about any changes. He can do what he wants.
We also caught up with Bran and
we did. Yeah.
It's quite brief, wasn't it? But you sort of got to see where they were and what was going on. And he was talking to a tree.
With a face in it. Yeah.
So there wasn't very much of that, but I suppose they just needed to bring those back in, didn't they? So we knew they were still there, really.
Yeah. It was pretty trippy. Like it's slowly kind of progressing the whole kind of fancy angle of it a little bit more with him having those visions and.
I love that stuff.
Being in his direwolf, which sounds weird when you say it out loud. But yeah, it's that. Another regular feature that we're doing is a cosplay of the week, and this week we have a pretty incredible one. This one we found from btic.net, and it has 3 cosplayers, one of whom looks so eerily like Littlefinger, it's kind of freaking us out. Cersei and their adorable child dressed up as Tyrion, who they are dumping in a bin. It's pretty amazing. And finally, to wrap up, every week we are asking celebrities that we speak to in our kind of movie roles every week if they watch Game of Thrones and what they think of it. We spoke to Ray Winstone for Noah. Our associate editor, Rosie Fletcher, went down to speak to him. He had a pretty interesting answer, actually.
Do you know what? There's about 4 series of different things that I haven't watched. And it's because I've got someone in it I like a hell of a lot. And my daughter's in it. One of my daughters, my oldest girl's been in it. It's not come on yet. But I have to watch the series from the beginning. And I've got all these tapes at home. And when I get a chance, I'm going to start from the beginning. I don't want to pick it up halfway through. I want to see Sean Bean in it, all that. I want to see it right from the start and catch it up,
So yeah, that's kind of huge news, right? That his eldest daughter is going to be in it. We didn't know that. That hasn't been announced.
It's pretty interesting. I mean, did a bit of Googling around it, and his eldest daughter is called Lois. And actually, it's not on the IMDb page, it's not been formally announced, but it is on her agent's page.
So scoop.
Yeah. And I mean, kind of just thinking about who it could potentially be, no spoilers at all, but we had to think that it could be maybe one of Oberyn's sisters, who were characters who eventually come into it.
Strong female characters, I think that probably sounds about right.
Yeah. But if that happens, you heard it here first. So that's it for this week. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you to Catherine and Sam for joining me. And remember to leave comments in the YouTube comments below. We had some really good feedback last week, so keep it coming. And remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel around about here, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah, and please remember, no spoilers in the comment section, and come back next week because episode 3 is going to be amazing, and we can't wait to talk about it. See you next week, guys.